Hi guys, welcome back, ladies in red. I'm back. We're already laughing off camera. We're already laughing. We've not even started yet. That's the way that we mean to go on, isn't it? Definitely. Joined by these two lovely ladies, and of course Natalie will be joining us slightly later on as well. She's on All for United, but she's coming straight across onto this show. So don't worry, Natalie will be here as well. Plenty to talk about, but first let me introduce my guests. Nick, I'll start with you. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be back with you. It feels like a lot has happened since, and it feels like a long time. But yeah, it's good to be back with my girls on a Friday night.
Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday.
It's Saturday, Sunday. What?
Meg, how are you doing? Obviously, we're into a final. We watched the watch along yesterday. It wasn't the best game, but we're into a final. How are you feeling?
I'm very well, thank you. I feel like we're in the presence of kind of royalty or celebrity right now after this past week. I mean, I don't know whether we should be asking for an autograph. Perhaps she'll start charging appearance fee. But no, yeah, welcome back everyone. Friday night with us lot as per usual. And yeah, I'm fine. And we're into a final. So how can you not be fine?
Exactly. We're into a final. I can see Brandon in the chat, so I'm going to get straight into it. Brandon, I know you're an Arsenal fan. Nick, we're into a final. Arsenal fans can't say that. I mean, how were you feeling after that yesterday?
Just relieved, really. I mean, like, because we was all like, "Oh, the job's already done," kind of thing. But in actual fact, like, we don't make it easy, do it. Cavani, of course, doing what Cavani does best, is an excellent finisher. And then yeah, Arsenal went out as well. Sorry about that Arsenal hunt, but these things happen. We're through to the final, and I think after this past few weeks, after this season, I can't think of anything better than potentially seeing Solskjaer finally picking a trophy up as Manchester United manager, especially when so many thought that that Arsenal was going to do better when he was announced as our manager.
Yeah, and only Arsenal could get knocked out to the manager that they've just sacked as well, by the way. Brandon, I feel for you. I genuinely do feel for Arsenal fans. I mean, I saw the clip of Troops kicking the ice, I think it's like an ice bucket or something, and he's literally like biting himself. He was that angry, and I can understand it. It's frustrating, isn't it? Obviously, we didn't watch the game, but the fact that the Villarreal went through, we've got to take that seriously, haven't we? We've got to give them the respect they've made it through to the final. I don't know too much about them, if I'm totally honest. Maybe someone in the chat could fill me in on how they are and how they play, but Villarreal in the final. Meg, how confident are you feeling going into that final?
I'm going to sit here and say that I am confident. Like you just said, to be honest, if don't overly know too much about Villarreal. The only games or the highlights of the games of their season that I've seen so far is these two against Arsenal. So I'm not going to sit and say I know everything about them. But from the way that we have played at times this season, how can we not say that we're confident going into that game? I just hope that our mentality is there for a final. Obviously, it's very new for these players into this group together and for Ole. But you've got to be confident going into it. We just come out through the semi-final. We scored 6 goals in one of those games, 8 goals altogether. You know, over 2 legs. We've got to be confident going forward. In the players that we've got, yes, we've looked shaky at times at the back. We admit that we're vulnerable there. That's probably our Achilles heel, but we're not that bad. So I'm going to just sit here and say, you know, I'm looking forward to hoping to see us lift that trophy.
Yeah, Alex has mentioned it there. Let's take a moment to think about Arsenal FC and the meltdown their fans have had, such as Troops. Yeah, I saw DT's post-match interview as well. Arsenal obviously feeling very down. But Nick, obviously, we just touched on it there, Villarreal in the final. We finally got past that semi-final curse. It didn't feel like it was going to happen. We finally did it. Are you confident are you going into that one now? Because you touched on it yesterday in the live chat. You said that the performance obviously would have good enough yesterday. We scraped through, but you're worried about that possibly carrying over into the following games.
Yeah, I mean, I want to sit here and be like, of course, I believe that we can win it. I believe that we're obviously favourites. I've been saying it for ages. Like, why shouldn't we do it? Having said that, yesterday I was like, the job was already done. But if the job wasn't done yesterday, it could have been a different story. So it's more going forward. If we perform like that, when it's basically there's everything to play for, and we don't have that like safety net kind of thing, then yeah, it does concern me. But then again, if we have the right mentality, as our Meg said, then it's I don't have to. It's more this thing of like we've done it like a lot this season of falling behind first that worries me. But so long as we obviously all that matters on the night is that we win, and so long as we win, I'll be happy. But it would be nice to have the performance and the result together.
Definitely. We're going to Poland, as someone's just said in the chat. Buzzing with that. We're on our way to Poland. Ollie is at the wheel. Talk about Ollie. Remember at the start of the season when people were saying, oh, there's Lampard, there's Arteta, there's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the classed as the PE teachers. Has Ollie now proven himself, Meg? Like, he didn't deserve that kind of comment, that comparison. Do you think he deserves a lot of credit for this season?
I think he damn right deserves a bit of credit now. You know, we are pretty much all but there in top four. I think we obviously can confirm it this weekend. Okay, he didn't win the league. But you have to hold your hands up sometimes and say the best team has. And I think Man City have been the best team throughout this season. You know, final for Europa League, potentially we're saying no. I'm not going to say that we have won it, but like I said, I'm confident going into that game. You've got to give him credit. And yes, the season's not been great as a whole in terms of, you know, the Premier League this year has been all over the place. Teams have beaten certain teams. You've got Liverpool, you've got Arsenal right down there. Spurs have dropped out. West Ham have come up. So I think it is a little bit of an all over like weird season, but you can only do what's in front of you. You can only play who's standing in front of you. You can only do what you can do, and he's done it. So for me, I think definitely deserves some credit now. I think the time has come to hold your hands up and say he's done well. And I just hope that, I know we're going to get onto the whole Glazers letter and things going forward for Manchester United, but I just hope that we've seen it. If you give somebody time, then this is what you can get back. So if we continue like this, surely we can only see good things.
Definitely. Brandon, I'm going to give you the shout out. Obviously, Troy James, thank you for staying up and watching me. Appreciate your supporting. Little Troy James is tuning in on his iPad. Hope you're enjoying the show, Troy.
Hi, Troy.
Hello to Troy.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend indeed. Gets to stay up and watch Ladies in Red. Hopefully we'll put a smile on his face, especially when the random questions come into the chat. Hopefully Troy can join in with some of them as well. Get your random questions in, guys. I will go back through. The girls will be keeping an eye out as well. You know what it's like on here. Funny questions, random questions. We're all for it. But Nick, a lot of people have been asking about the protest yesterday. Obviously, me and Meg weren't there. You were there representing Ladies in Red. There's a lot of media, obviously, coverage about it, and the majority focused on the negatives. And we obviously said yesterday that that's always going to be the case. It's always going to focus on the people who let the side down almost. What was it like, Nick? What was the atmosphere like for the people who couldn't make it, like ourselves? Like, how would you describe it? It looked
Honestly, I was so confused. Like, I found out as everyone else did about the other side to it, because being there, it was such a, Nat, I'll tell you if Nat comes on later, it was such a good atmosphere, a positive atmosphere. Like, there was thousands there. There was a really good turnout. Everyone with the banners, some was just absolutely hilarious. And you know, like we had the 50+1. Everyone had, like, whether it was a little banner, whether it was big, and to me, everyone was just in unison, and that's why someone actually came up to me, and Laura, who I was with, and was like, they're on the pitch, and we was talking about where the players were. So when they said we're on the pitch, we thought the players were on the pitch. I'm like, the players are on the pitch? That doesn't sound very safe. And he was like, no, Nicole, the fans are on the pitch. So I found out, even though I was at Old Trafford, I found out just as everyone else did. So what I'm saying is, I'm not like denying that there was a bad side. There's always going to be one or two, no matter where you are, who you support, even whether you're football fan, there's always going to be something negative. And unfortunately, that's where the spin seems to go. But it was like two different realities on the telly, what I was saying after and being there. It was really, really good atmosphere. No trouble. I didn't see any trouble. Everyone was just getting on there for the same reasons. And just like singing like passionately with the whole heart why we was there, really. And then, as you know, girls, the only man I run for is the ice cream van. And as I was walking down,
there was one.
Started again. There was the ice cream van near Bishop's Place, and I thought, you know what? You get your bills paid, hon. So do you know what I mean? It wasn't all bad. I promise you, it wasn't all bad. We the vast majority there did us really, really proud, girls. Really proud.
So British as well, the fact that you're doing a protest and there's an ice cream van there. Where else would you see that happen? But
that picture's going to go down in history books.
Yeah, it's like a black and white copy of it on a canvas in someone's house, like in years to come, definitely. But Meg, today obviously there's more news from the Glazers. There's been a letter from Joel. I know you've read it. Obviously, we were just discussing it off air. But what's your initial reaction to that? And everyone in the chat, obviously, let me know as well if you've read it. What's your reaction to it as well? But the Glazers, that's their response, really, this letter today.
Well, you've titled this obviously Too Little Too Late, and I feel just like, and I said this to you girls, it's very easy to just put a pen to paper and almost like a PR stunt say this is what we want to do going forward. But words mean nothing unless you've got action behind them. So until there is a bit of action and we can see if he follows through with those words, then that's when we can take it seriously. It's just a very well written. I'm going to hold my hands up and half apologise. I can understand where you're coming from, and you've humbled me with what you've done, and you show how passionate you are. But where's your passion? Where's the Glazers' passion been for the last 16 years? And like I said, until those words are actually actions, they are just words on a bit of paper. So I'm not saying, look, I'm all changed my mind. No, I haven't. But I'm waiting to see there's some action behind it now.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, there's talk about investment into the training ground, into the stadium and whatnot. It is like one of them, isn't it? Nick, time will tell. But I think for us that the time is done. Like the time is up, isn't it?
Yeah, it seemed very orchestrated because like they've had opportunities in front of camera. Like for me personally, what we do here, like even though we have an idea what we're going to talk about and we have notes, I think we all talk from the heart because we love the game and we love United. So I think if you ask me a question now, I'd be able to answer it. But whereas with them, it can't be. There is no heart, there is no passion. So it has to be orchestrated. It has to be rehearsed and it has to be written down. And for me, quite false really, because all it is without action is just words. And we've been here before. We've been here before. When it rains, it pours literally with the roof. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as don't get me wrong, if we win the Europa League, I'll be buzzing. Don't get me wrong, if we get Simons in next season, depending on obviously the current situation, I'll be buzzing. But for me, nothing changes until we see physical changes. And in the words of Jojo, it's just too little too late, Huns. I'm sorry, but
what you're saying is very much it's the team, isn't it? So if the team win the Europa League, and if the team bring in players, it's not. It's like
just not them.
You're happy for those players. Obviously, you're happy for Manchester United as a whole, but you're very happy for those players. And I'm not happy like that the Glazers have won it. I'm not happy that the Glazers own it, but
support the team, defend the club.
Yeah. Like I'm going to sit here and that final. If we go on and win it, yes, I'm going to celebrate it.
Of course.
Yeah. You know, and if we sign somebody, somebody in particular that we want as well, yes, I'm going to be very happy about it. But it doesn't mean that I'm happy with the whole the system behind the executives in the club at the moment. And like very, very much said, time will tell.
Yeah.
I do think that we'll probably see some money put back in. Not hush money, but you know what I mean? Just kind of like keeping us sweet a little bit. But time has well and truly been and gone for them at the moment.
And because we're paying so much to them every year, dividends and interest and stuff like that, is it really their money they're putting in? Let's be honest.
It's right though. She's like orchestrated, isn't it? I said this off camera. Why, when he's been approached on camera, when reporters have obviously come up to him and ask him questions, it doesn't say anything. Well, the Glazers don't say anything. But then over paper, they can do it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those people who won't say anything to your face, but then they'll go and text it to you.
Are we customers? He couldn't even bring himself to say no, they're not customers. In fact, he couldn't even bring them to say that. But do you know what, that reporter though, I think she's called Sally. Good on you, girl, because she was not letting him go without a fight. So respect to her.
Yeah, I completely agree. She went fully out and
the pressure on.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Nick, on obviously the game being cancelled as well? Because obviously it escalated quickly, as Will Ferrell says. I'm going to do a little, you did the Jojo, I'm going to say Will Ferrell. Escalated quickly. Obviously, fans were on the pitch and then the game got called off. Like, do you think that something like that needed to happen in order to get the message across?
I think, I said the other day,
violence aside, of course.
Yeah. I'm not going to praise that. I denounced that completely. That was very, very, very minor in terms of the whole situation. But in terms of that, for me, even though first and foremost, I'm a football fan. Of course, I want to watch United in Liverpool. I was talking about it a few days after. I was buzzing for it, just like everyone else. Having said that, if it wasn't for me personally, one of the biggest fixtures in English football being called off, would it have made worldwide news? Would we be getting this statement? Would we finally seemingly be getting somewhere? I don't think so. I think you have to. It's a necessary evil. I think you have to make a statement, not a violent statement, obviously, but I think you have to make a powerful statement to get them to listen. Otherwise, we're not going to listen. Otherwise, we're just a little people, but we're not. And it's not even a case of just like physically, going onto the pitch. It's also like now there's obviously a campaign to go after the sponsors as well. And I think it's 2021 now. It's not like 10 years ago or something. Like we can get them from all angles, and I think they know that. And I think this is another thing. The only reason that letter has come out is because it is working what we're doing. Otherwise, it wouldn't. It would just be pure ignorance, wouldn't it? And carry on as we were. So yeah, I think it was necessary, even though just like everyone else that wanted to watch the game, I was talking about, oh, we're going to get home in time to watch the game. And then it was like, well, don't have to rush home now, do I? So it's one of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Meg, how did you feel when you saw the game was obviously postponed, maybe moved to the 13th, hasn't it? I think Thursday night. So what's your thoughts? Like when you saw the news, the breaking news that the game had been cancelled, so I'm sure you've probably been at football or whatever, so you probably wouldn't have heard it until later on. Like, what was your thought on that?
To be fair, I was disappointed. Like, I felt like that because of what had happened. Not that we shot ourselves in the foot, but we have put added pressure onto the team, and it was never a case of. I never wanted this to be like a disruption to the players and their season, because you know full well, and we've seen the way that Ollie gets treated. If he loses the game, it's the army are after him. It's all Ollie out, Ollie out, Ollie out. It trends all over Twitter. And you already know if we lose to Liverpool this week, or we've got Leicester, we've got a Villa, Leicester, Liverpool, the big games. Villa are fighting to try and still keep their European hopes alive. Leicester are just behind us. Liverpool don't want damage limitation for them right now. It's not like we're playing teams that aren't really playing for anything. These teams are still playing for something. And I just hope that we can come through this week. And that's not just talking about points, that's talking about injuries as well. And then I don't want to see if we don't come through this week, the blame will all be put on the players and the manager again. And I feel like as fans we still did that. And I'm not saying that shouldn't have happened. But we were the perpetrators of it. We started that. So it was disappointing not to see the game, obviously. You wait all weekend to bloody watch Manchester United, we didn't get to see them. Sunday afternoon. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, like we say, made the news, but it made big headlines. And although it focused a lot on the negativity, like Nick said, it seemed like the atmosphere was very positive there. Everyone was in unison. Obviously, we all were sharing the same message. And you're always going to have the odd idiot who's going to let the side down. There's always, no matter what, in anything like that where there's a huge number of people, there's always going to be the odd idiot, and unfortunately they're the ones that the media like to zoom in on. But has Arsenal's season stopped being funny yet, Nick?
No. No, to be fair though, I do feel a bit sorry for him, but I think that's because we've been there and we've seen it. But if it was us, it'd well be laughing. And I think if it wasn't I'm an empath, and I've suffered post Fergie, so I understand their feelings, shall we say? But if you can't laugh at teams, and like, what is the point? Might as well just have the European Super League if we can't laugh at each other and have a bit of banter.
Exactly.
I'm joking,
like you said,
by the way.
If it was the other way around, though, with Arsenal fans, you are right. I'm pretty sure that they would be laughing as well. And I genuinely, yesterday, I fully expected them to go through. I thought we got Arsenal in the final. In my head, that was already going to be the final. I was genuinely surprised that they didn't turn it around. But worrying signs, definitely. Wesley says, I think what happened over the weekend was a great step to show fans' feelings and intentions. We got shafted by the rescheduling, unfortunately. They have got us back with the rescheduling. There's no doubt about it. The amount of games we've got, obviously, in a short space of time. But it is what it is. We have to keep going. Obviously, Villa is the first one this weekend. Grealish, I don't think he's back for them. I think he's out. Barkley obviously has come back for Villa, so I think he's a positive addition for them. But Meg, you said you got quite a few mates at football who are Villa fans. How do you think Villa will be feeling playing us at the weekend?
I don't think any team would look forward to it at the moment. Really, we are doing well, second in the Premier League. So, I'm more looking forward to playing them, because if they haven't got Grealish, like I said, I think their season's kind of taken a turn when he got injured, and that just shows how important he is for them. I don't see it. I feel like I'm not going to be nervous going into it, but at the same time, I'm nervous on a personal level, because I know if we lose, then I'm getting grief off the girls from football.
Yeah, definitely. When you got club mates close who support the team that you're playing, it's horrible, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I want to touch on this because it's really important. And obviously, Claude, as you all know, great friend of mine, came on the channel a lot, a massive Arsenal fan, a great guy, like a true gent. I can't even put into words how good of a guy he was. It was his funeral today, and I have seen obviously the footage. I spoke to Pippa, who was at the funeral as well. I said it was really emotional, but hopefully it's been a fitting send off for, like I say, a truly great guy. And he'll be greatly missed, but definitely not forgotten. He said to me on this channel, like he wanted us to do big things with hair dry treatment, and that will always linger with me. He always supported the movement of Ladies in Red. He loved coming on the channel, and yeah, he's just a legend. He was just he was the definition of a legend. So I just wanted to say that. Obviously, a sad day in terms of that, but like I say, long live his legacy. Like, he was one of the great football YouTubers. He was just an awesome guy. So yeah, rest in peace to Claude. But Nick, Villa, how are you feeling going into that game? You got your concerns about how we played the other night. Do you think it's just a case of the mentality the other night was that job was already done?
Honestly, I just don't know what to expect anymore these days. I don't know whether the game's going ahead or what. I think, like I've said a few times, cautiously confident. I think it's all about how we start. I think there's going to be, obviously, with the one of games, as I've been saying, Ole's going to have to be smart with, like, you know, who we starting and probably possibly have some rotation. But I think, yeah, if the mentality is there and we're sharp and we're on point, and we capitalise on, obviously, their captain not playing and things, I think we should be all right. But having said that, I don't know what to expect anymore. And just to touch on what you just said about Claude, then our thoughts are with, like, Claude's family and friends and everyone today. So yeah, just wanted to send my condolences to them.
Yeah, the news is that Leicester are losing. Newcastle have scored, by the way. Joe Willock has scored. So that's interesting, obviously, in terms of top four and what's going to happen there. But, I mean, Meg, Donny had his start yesterday. We said live, didn't we, that the team didn't play very well, so it's hard to judge him too much. But how do you summarise his performance yesterday? Do you think that it's still like we just want that bit more from him? But I think you have to feel as well, because he hasn't had a run of games. His confidence will probably be low from not playing too much as well. He's had like bit part, hasn't he? Do you think he's one of these where he just needs a run of games? You look at players like Fred, for example, and when he was rewarded with a run of games, we saw him blossom, really, didn't we? Do you think Donny's a player like that?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it yesterday that I felt like he was quite quiet. He almost got bypassed. And when you're playing alongside the likes of Bruno and Pogba and Cavani, it's very hard to be the shining, superstar in the team when you've got names like that in there anyway. Yeah. I don't think he did terribly badly yesterday. I don't think I sort of thought, oh my gosh, he's an absolute shocker. But I also didn't think he stood out. I just think, the way that Joe Willock's going at the moment, you said you were surprised, Sophie, and I'm not, the way that he's going about. But yeah, I just think it was a quiet performance from him. I think if you do get a run of games, you can almost find your feet a little bit more. You kind of build relationships with other players on the pitch. You gain their trust a little bit more in games. It's very easy to gain trust in obviously in training, but to do it in a game is something different. So I think if he can get a bit of a run of games, like you said, this week's going to be full of rotation. Ollie mentioned it last night that he alluded to the fact that he's going to have to rotate the team. I would expect to see Donny in some of these games. So hopefully he will see him get more minutes, not just like a super sub appearance for 2 minutes. So hopefully it's something to build on. Foundations are there, but it's about what you're going to build on top of it. Are you going to build a bloody penthouse, or are you going to build a bungalow with one room in it?
I think that's a good point about the foundations. I think he's a good player. There's no doubt about it. He's a talented player. He's a clever player. But you mentioned it yesterday that when he's receiving the ball, he's not receiving it on a half term. He's not trying to turn out. He's playing the safe little pass. And I think he's just keeping it. He's playing steady at the minute. I don't think he's playing within himself. And I think we all know that there's a great player in there. But look, it's like how we utilise him, how we get the best out of him. I mean, Nick, what did you think about his performance?
I was just going to say, it's a bit unfair to, like you say, to really judge someone based on, like, obviously he started it today, but I mean, in general, like dribs and jobs, you can't perform at your best and utilise your strengths when you're not getting the playing time in. But then at the same time, he has to, I don't know, it kind of, with some people, it's like, play Donny. And then when we play him, it's like, oh, it's not quite good enough. Like, I don't know what they're expecting. I think I'm just with Meg on this. The more playing time he gets, the more we'll see. And I think as that happens, his confidence will go side by side in it. As his confidence develops and he feels like he has a place in the team and possibly like start in the starting 11 also at times, I think he will then, that will follow into
Yeah, and a confidence as well. He's going to be scared to receive the ball on the half term just in case he gives it away. He's going to be scared to play that risky pass just in case he gives it away because he's not getting much game time. He wants to obviously do the best that he possibly can and not let himself down really. So I think he's a good player. I think it's how we utilise him. Obviously, the big runner games that we've just mentioned, I think that hopefully will give him more rotation and we get to see more of him because we've seen in glimpses he's an intelligent player. In his mind, like his movement, his little 1-2 passes, there's a good player in there. It's just how we fit him into our squad and how we best use him. And hopefully we do find that.
Where would you want to see him in the team? Like where really, realistically, you can play whoever you want and you can put Donny in at whichever position you want. Where are you putting him?
I think that's the issue, isn't it? Because I think ideally you'd probably say you'd go where Bruno is, but is he an out-and-out number 10? Exactly. He's a completely different player to Bruno. Bruno brings that energy. Do you know what I mean? Donny isn't that kind of player. Bruno's the kind of player who'll get the game by the scruff of the neck. Donny doesn't really do that.
Bruno's the catalyst of games even when he's not at his best.
So I think Bruno, like you say, is a mainstay. He's not moving. So I think the only place really I could think about him going is in a three of the midfield. Donny playing that 8 role. So he's more of the box to box. He's more of that link-up player, linking the defence to the attack. I think that's where I see Donny fitting in. But obviously, it's then at the minute, Ollie doesn't feel secure having just one CDM. A lot of the time he plays McFred. So that would mean McTominay's playing in Donny's possible position. Obviously, Pogba's being forced out left. So I think the possibility, say for example, if we saw someone like Declan Rice who could possibly do that holding role on his own, then maybe Donny could play just in front of him and then Bruno. That may be a perfect balance. But I think at the minute the balance isn't right for Donny to start. And that's why it's awkward. That's why it makes you question whether Ollie wanted him in the first place.
It'd be interesting actually, the comment that's just on the screen from I Love the Villa. It'd be interesting to see from your perspective as a Villa fan, who you want us to play? Because you're saying play our third team, and we're saying players like
Donny. So what do you perceive as our third team?
Yeah, players like Donny, who's not getting much game time. Is he part of the team that you'd like to see us? So if you are still in the chat, let us know who you'd rather have, and it's not Phil Jones because he's not allowed on the pitch. But
Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. Chris Smalling.
That's going to be in my head the whole time now. I can't.
Sorry, guys.
They're just pitching around. I can't see the video. Can I just say, ladies? Sorry, Meg. I was happy with the action to the fans in the stadium invasion. That's not protesting. That's being downright idiots too far for me. Yeah, we just mentioned obviously there were a minority, I'm going to say, who did spoil it, but not everybody on the pitch, to be fair, was violent either. Like we saw videos of stewards literally letting people run in and stuff like that as well. I don't think it was an accurate reflection.
There was let in, and there's also a picture of Neville like fist bumping one of them. It wasn't all bad.
But
I wasn't on the pitch though.
Yeah. What I would say is obviously that I have seen that clip of that guy with the football, by the way, who just couldn't get it under the control, and people were saying that's Wan-Bissaka warming up. I've seen a few different like captions to it, and it's tickled me every time. There's been a few different ones. One said, "Oh, Phil Jones is back" and stuff like this. Just made me laugh. But in terms of the fans and the protesting, like obviously you saw, I think as a policeman who had his oil cut, like we're not condoning that, like that's awful. That's thuggish behaviour, and that's not a protest, and that I totally agree with. But what I will say is I don't think everybody on the pitch was there to cause trouble. I think they were there because, like I say, they were let in. I think that's what happened. But yeah, obviously we mentioned Villa at the weekend. We mentioned obviously we've got Liverpool game coming up as well. You mentioned rotation. Eric Boyer started yesterday. Do you think it will be a case, Nick, where he'll be rotating with Lindelof like in the next coming games? Or do you think Lindelof will be the mainstay?
I think he's going to have to rotate, but I'm laughing because I don't know if you've seen like the last day or so. You know the out of context Eric Bailly page, like, oh my god, like the situations he gets himself into. Like, a lot is such a buzz. Like, we're always rooting for him on this channel, and then he comes and he just does the craziest things. But I'm sorry, I got distracted. But in terms of your question, I know Lindelof seems to be like Ole's number one to partner with Maguire, but I think this is the time to possibly, with it coming thick and fast, to get Bailly in while we can.
Villa wants Phil Jones starting. Start to take the corners. You can do that. Jay Kitman has said, what do you guys think of the next season's kit? Obviously, Meg, we spoke about it yesterday. We said we actually quite like it, but we are not spending a penny on it. We're not buying it, but I do quite like it. Nick, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it's a bit of me, but like you, I'm not going to be buying any next season's kits. I'm not even going to be posting them to advertise them. I'm going to stick with me green and gold. I'm going to stick with me retros, because I think it'd be quite hypocritical of me to go out and get the new one. But having said that, it isn't the worst one of the past few years. I do like them sleek, but unfortunately, I'm gutted to say it, but unfortunately, I won't be buying it this time.
Yeah, as Curly says, no more spending. Definitely not going to happen. Retro is definitely the way forward, isn't it, for us next season? 100%. Or even Ladies in Red. We'll just represent Ladies in Red. That's what we're going to
represent. We'll just all go around in these. And when it's summer, we'll have to get T-shirts again, go full circle.
Yes. Guys, I know I had a few messages about hoodies and T-shirts. I am working on it. I was talking obviously to Nick off air about it. There is someone that we're talking to and we're trying to get that sorted. So hopefully soon we'll have some merchandise for sale for you guys so you guys can represent Ladies in Red as well. That's what we're going for. Guys, get your random questions in as well. Obviously, we spoke a lot about processing, a lot about football. So get your comments in, get your random questions in. You know, we like to have a bit of a laugh on here. So, yeah. Curlers, I will spend it on shoes instead. People who know me know that is the case. Meg, I'm sure you know that will be the case. I will definitely spend my money on shoes rather than that. But we spoke about Europa League. Let's touch on the Champions League a little bit. All English final. I've got to be honest. I know. I've got to be honest and say that both English teams fully deserve to go through to the final after watching the semi-finals. They dominated. They absolutely dominated in both games. And I was shocked, really. I was shocked. But Tuchel's coming, obviously, at Chelsea, Meg. Do you think, because obviously we're all sitting here, we all want Chelsea to win. Let's be real, we all want Chelsea to win.
We're all Chelsea, ain't we?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather it not be any of them, of course, but if someone's going to win, I'd rather it be Chelsea. Do you think that Tuchel can get one over on Pep in this final?
Yeah, but my concern with it, though, is what Chelsea will do with this platform now. That, you know, they're at the Champions League final. They have played incredibly well under Tuchel, but since he's come in, he is, you almost want to say he's transformed the players. He has players playing for him now that wasn't in Lampard's plans. It's gone like a full circle with them. My concern is next season, what they do. Do they build on this? Because I'll say it now, I think they'll be dangerous next season. The way they have been for the second half of this season, I think they'll be very dangerous for next season. So yeah, I'm all Chelsea, but as soon as that game's finished, I hope they drop off again.
Yeah, I hope so too. Nick, what are you expecting for the Champions League final?
I don't really want to say this, but it just seems to me like City are going to win the Premier League and they're going to win the Champions League, but like no one really cares. Like I don't mean it in a bad way or in a better way. It just seems to be like it's just kind of like, oh, City are gonna oh, that's good. City are gonna win and that's that. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like all English family is just a bit boring. I have to support Chelsea. What has my life come to? So hopefully they'll get some out of it. But then after that, I won't be celebrating them winning. I'll just be like, oh well, at least City didn't win something, and then we move on, and it'll be forgotten about within a few days. The end.
Yeah. I think we all know the answer to this because we obviously played ourselves off as this at the start when we started Ladies in Red. We associated ourselves with each character in this girl band. I mean, Meg, if you were a girl band, the last 20 years, who would it be?
So obviously the Spice Girls.
If you want to be my lover.
Yeah, but who's who then? Obviously, we had Emma involved in this as well. Emma,
I miss Emma. Was Emma posh? I think Emma was posh.
I think Emma was posh, yeah.
You were a baby, weren't you, Soph?
Yeah, I was baby. What were you two?
You were sporty, I think.
I was sporty.
I think I was probably scary.
And we had Zara as well, though.
Leopard print. I've got a lot of leopard print to get out. Mm-hmm.
There's our first little one. Someone said we could see us being the new Little Mix. I'd take that.
Well, there's three of them now, isn't there? So wait, is there three of them? Yeah. I'm not down with the kids anymore. There isn't. Who left? Was it? I'm not down with the kids anymore.
Oh, I'm not down with the kids. Girls Aloud. That's another one.
Shout
to the underground and the beat of the drum.
Drum goes round.
Is that on our Spotify playlist? Yeah, I know. Is that on our Spotify? I'm sorry.
The Girls Aloud is what the Spice Girls is. There's definitely some Elvis on our Spotify playlist, guys. That's what I mean. I more listen to Elvis than I listen to songs these days. So don't ask me, guys.
If you are interested in our music taste, you just had a bit of snippet of it there, a bit of Girls Aloud. Not Little Mix, obviously, because we knew nothing about them. But yeah, we have got a playlist on Spotify. Ladies in Red in Your Head, isn't it? That's what it's called, isn't it?
That's the one. Ladies in Red in Your Head by Nicole USS. That's me. But yeah, we're going to add more. We're going to add a few more songs. But it's got everything from Your Cheese, Soul's Grind, My Elvis, and Emma's Britney. Anything Britney, you just imagine Emma doing the workouts. Love you, Emma.
It's interesting to see how many of you know about Little Mix in the comments.
That's it.
So many of them. Ah, this is nice fun.
Thank you. But you haven't seen me in the morning, hon.
It's 2-0 to Newcastle, by the way. Jay, I bet you're buzzing. It's 2-0 to Newcastle. So Leicester, what's going on with Leicester? Like 2-0 down at Newcastle? No, I did not expect that. 2-0 down. Doug is in the chat. Doug, I hope you're doing well.
Hi, Doug.
Yeah, obviously, Doug, we are going to try and do a preview with you at some point, obviously, because the game has moved. So I'd like to do some content with Doug for the Liverpool game as well. Top playlist name, someone rates the name. So I appreciate that.
I made that up. I'm going to take the credit.
You did actually. I remember you coming up with that name, to be fair.
Because I was like, in the WhatsApp group, I was like, everyone send me songs. And then like Sophie just like did it. I was like, right, calm down. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
What? This is me doing a random question because there's not many in the chat at the minute. Get your comments in. I thought I'd done then. But what's your favourite comedy like movie to watch? Say if you didn't want a good laugh, and there's one that like you know every word to because you've watched it that many times. Like comedy.
I'm so predictable, but
Go on then.
Liar, I'm sorry, but liar is like Jerry, enjoy my wife. I'm just I always watch the same thing.
The pen is royal blue.
The goddamn pen is blue. I don't know, it's just iconic. It just takes you back to being a kid and having like no stress.
That's mine, Ryan. That's mine.
I was going to say anything with a bit of Will Ferrell in, hilarious.
I want to see what people say. I need a good laugh, so I need some recommendations. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Send me funny films. Yeah, send me funny films that are on Netflix or Amazon, guys, that I can watch tonight.
It's good. As my mate was like,
can I just say regarding Friends? Yesterday was 17 years since Rachel got off the plane. 17 years. I am old.
Old.
I don't even watch.
Mrs. Doubtfire, I watched that the other day. What a film.
Iconic. Robin Williams, what a legend he was. What a legend.
Also love the actress Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like The Heat with Sandra Bullock in.
Yeah. So
Bridesmaids is fun. Have you seen Bridesmaids?
Yeah. Anything with her in and anything with Will Ferrell. They're kind of my two to go to.
Loyal good.
It'll be funny. Or anything with Kevin Hart as well.
Yes. I was watching Ace Ventura last night as well.
Have you had a drink, hon?
White Chicks as well. That is a funny film. Like these like just comedies that you just shove on, like you know you've watched them that many times you know like
it's like a comfort. Yeah. Ali G in the house is cheesy, but Ali G in the house is funny, you know. Like when they're all like at the table. Yeah, respect her. Respect her.
And he's like, I actually don't know. Can any of you play an instrument? I can play the triangle. That's about it.
One time at band camp. I shook the flute up. Never mind.
Meg, are you musically talented? Or?
Do you know what? I was in school. I did play. I played the clarinet in school, but I mean, I can't even remember how many years ago it was now. We're going back some years.
I used to play the keyboard. And for my DJ, yeah, back in the day.
And
I don't think I was playing it.
The teacher was talking, so I would just go, DJ.
Natalie's in the chat. Yes, Nat, how you doing?
How you
doing, Nat?
Oh, sorry, I'm late, guys. Never. Better late than never.
Of course.
Nat, we again, Nat.
Hi again.
We've just been talking about what's our favourite like comedy, like go-to film. You know, like if you one that you've watched that many times, you know the words to it. All programs, to be fair. Like, what's your go-to to have a laugh?
I love Bridesmaids, you know, or anything like that.
I said that.
Yeah, Bridesmaids.
Yeah, I like things like that.
Bridesmaids is good, to be fair. Ashley says hello to Nat. Nat, we just discussed about obviously Nicole was at the protest. I don't know if you managed to get to the protest. I think you did. Didn't you, at one.
Yeah.
Was it the Sunday when you got to? What was it like? Like obviously a lot of people weren't there.
I was at both.
Fair dues, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like then? Because obviously we got a lot of coverage on the media, and not a lot of that was put across in a negative way. But as Nick has said, it's mad.
It was mad.
Good vibes, wasn't it, Nat?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good to just see everyone. Like literally everyone was there. There's like 10,000. There was so many people, and like obviously there's all this chat of violence and this. It wasn't like that. And then I think towards the end, at about 4 or 5 o'clock, when it was all dying down, when we didn't know if it was going or not again, I think there was a little bit of aggro between one guy and the police, and he got then heated. And it led to a little skirmish, and it just then all shut down. The police just came in the row, pushed forward. That was it, and then everyone just went home. And then I think I went back to my friends. There was all this, will it, won't it? And it was just bang, it was off. And I think the right decision was made. And I know people were upset that it got called off, but for me, I think it's led to this now. Would Joel Glazer have done a statement if that game went ahead? Not a chance.
No.
So they know.
No way.
That we're real now, and even then, this statement, people, I don't trust it still, And no actions. Where's your action? Where are you going to put the money in? There's all this always giving some money to UEFA. Yeah, and what? Put more money into United. Let's fix everything. Let's get back to where we belong, because you guys have taken too much, and just get the fans on the board. Let's do it right. And I don't know. There's now talks of more protests. I don't know. I am for them. Obviously not in the violent way, but
next Thursday.
We made the statement, and like you said, now they are, I think, as people are saying, on the ropes. Let's get them out. Rattled.
100%. This is a good question. If you could watch only one football game for the rest of your life, what game are you watching? For me, it's 7-2 Villa, Liverpool.
I feel like we could
take me back to 1999.
I could say, I think
that's my answer.
Any United fan, and we could literally sing it in unison.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Take me back to last night's semi-final, second leg. I think that'll be the one that I'm joking. Do not take me back to that one.
I think you need a serious lie down.
I'm joking. Yeah, no, it can't be 99, surely. What about internationally, like for England then? If you're not talking club.
No, take me back to that a few years ago when obviously 66 we wasn't alive, but that a few years ago when we was gonna win it, but we didn't. But we was gonna. That was really that summer was amazing. That summer, let's have that summer this year. Let me have that summer this year when we're allowed.
The clip of Trippier scoring the free kick, or when Dyer scored the penalty, or when we were in the bar in Bristol, and we beat Sweden. Yeah. Those moments, you want that, but I want it in a final. I mean, that's what the country's like when we get to a semi-final.
Yo, the fence is terrified. I just think of that. They was good times.
What are we going to be like if we ever won it again? The whole place would shut down.
Yeah. It's mad. I think as well, the Beckham free kick against Greece. I remember watching that in my nan's living room and going absolutely mad when he scored that free kick against Greece. That's another one that, it's just... gives you goosebumps even when I watch it now. Last kick of the game, literally, and he ran it. Yeah, he's just mad. Gotta love Beckham. Someone asked what our favourite takeaway is. I think we've answered that before, but favourite takeaway. What's your go-to? Go on, Nick. I'll let you start this one. I'm trying to find a question.
I love a Chinese, but if I'm being honest, I had it tonight. The same thing. I think the guys fed up with me now. Is chicken, rice, and peas, and a patty from the Caribbean. If my mum can't make it, I order it.
Nice, Meg. You love Chinese, don't you?
I'm no first fan of Chinese, but I do like
egg fried rice with no curry.
Well, I do like a pizza, but it's got to be barbecue based and it's got to be a stuffed crust.
No.
Make fried rice.
That's no.
No. No, none of that.
You know what? You can all shove some pineapple on top of there.
None of that. I do love a Chinese.
It's kicking out. Get
the pineapple away, man. Get the pineapple away.
You know what? I'd even have pineapple in the egg fried rice. There you go.
No. Right, that's it. Thanks.
See you later.
She's off. She's gone.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Did you say like Chinese and that?
I like Chinese, but I think a good Indian as well. I do love.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
curry, some naans and papadums.
Yeah. Grilled meat.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Doug, thank you so much for the super chats. And nothing better than a Friday night watching Ladies in Red. I would really have Liverpool 4-0 Barcelona any day of the week. Great content as always. That was a mad game, to be fair. I remember watching that and pulling my hair out, getting so stressed. I was so pissed off that they did so well in that game. Doug, thank you so much for the contribution. I appreciate it, and I hope that you're enjoying the show. Definitely.
Can I ask
Doug's
Doug a
always there in the
question?
chat, isn't he? He's always there in the chat. Yeah.
Can I ask Doug a question? Obviously, Doug's a friend of mine. Just from a Liverpool perspective, Liverpool fan perspective, Doug, or anyone else is in the chat, what did you think about the game being postponed, and do you think it was necessary? I'm just curious to see from the other side.
Yeah. A question for you, Nick. What's your favourite patty?
Beef, but I'm not fussy.
Beef, but you're not fussy. Beef. I'm trying to think of any other slang words that you've used recently that we don't use in my area. So we're having this debate last time because you and Nat obviously are on the same team, yeah.
You don't think Kirby exists. You don't think a Guinness exists. You don't think a BAM exists.
I didn't say I don't think Kirby exists. I just think it's American.
I mean, Matt used to go out and play Kirby.
What would you call it, so?
Got a ball.
Oh, no. I'm very much in the middle of like Soph, who's like a little
Gutters.
bit more southern, and then like you, Nick, and that are a little bit more northern. And I'm finding like I would call it Kirby, and I'm thinking like where the hell gutter ball come from? And when you say like a gamble, like that's not me either.
Megan, you seen this question? How are you keeping it safe?
What are we choosing?
Legs, defo. Legs.
Why not? Why legs like pies?
Because my face is my face, mate. You know, that's the signature, the smile, the ready, the let's go.
You
Your
have
legs,
like
okay.
two pineapple eyes.
Meat and potato legs or cheese and onion legs?
Meat and potato.
You're specifying the pie as well, then.
Good shout.
I want pucker legs. That's what I want. Pucker.
Pucker.
That's what
Oh God! I want
legs like
sturdy
pies.
pie legs though, like a proper like tough pie. I can still get about.
That's a good question. Legs like pies, so she can hide your legs but not your face. That's a good point. Doug says he agrees with the protest. You've had your owners for far too long, 16 years, way too long. What I don't agree with is the Old Trafford pitch and causing damage and smashing cameras, etc. Yeah, the violence was uncalled for. Completely agree. I mean, that guy throwing the camera, how's that affecting? What was he doing?
That's just affecting whoever. That's probably a freelance photographer.
I know some.
It's not Joel, is it?
I don't know. Are you guys going to the protest next week? It's on Thursday, isn't it? I would like to, I am at work though, so it would be a rush for me to get to Manchester in time for it. But I would like to go to it. Nat and Nick, are you going?
If you're there, shout me.
Right, yeah. I'm just because I live like round the corner, so it's like I can get there like that. And I'm at work, but I'll just finish work and just get there, and that's what they're saying, isn't it? 5 o'clock, everyone, we're going to be there.
Get there.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying now. It's sort of like that strength in unity. We don't just
keep the momentum going, not just a 7-day thing and then we forget about it. Nope, keep going.
Yeah, we've seen in the past, haven't we? We've seen where they're using hashtag Glazers out, and after a week, it just stops happening. You are right. I think it's about keeping this up now. I think we've got the momentum, like you said, they're rattled. I think we need to keep that pressure on. And
I think it feels different. I don't know whether I'm a bit naive, but I genuinely think it feels different this time.
No, it does. I completely agree. Lawbreaker, thank you so much. Says, honestly, you ladies in red and the people in the chat are hilarious. Highlight of my Friday evening. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. Ramsey, thank you so much for the contribution. Says, good evening, ladies. Glazers out. Glazers out indeed. Hashtag Glazers out. Definitely get that hashtag trending. We obviously will keep posting in our yellow and gold, green and gold shirts there. But yeah. You've got to keep the message going. That's why we've got to keep the consistency going. Like you say, too many times I think it's just fizzled out and we need to keep that going. Alex, thank you so much for the contributions. And Simon Jordan and Graham Souness are planks for saying that we're only upset about the Glazers because we have not won silverware in recent times. Yeah, I saw Carragher.
You need to do the research. Do your research. If you're gonna sit there and say something, why don't you have a look? Go and have a look at the pictures. When we were Premier League champions, we won the Champions League the season before, and in the stands you will see green and gold. Have a look at the picture of Beckham with the green and gold scarf on. Stop making things up for your own agendas because it's Manchester United. The end.
Boom, mic drop.
It winds me up.
But to be fair, it was Carragher. I mean, I know it's Scouse, and I know that.
Fair play, James. I have never agreed with him as much in my life.
Jamie Carragher throughout this whole thing. Football fans, true football fans, and
speaking as a fan and not from a biased perspective, because it wasn't about going against each other. It's about being together. It's about when we got rid of the European Super League and stuff like that. That wasn't about going against each other. That was about uniting. And now it's like when it suits them, yeah, football fans should have a voice, but now it's just Manchester United kind of thing. Oh no, they shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, seriously, have an opinion by all means, but do your research. This is not something new. We're not just doing it throwing our ties at the prom because we're not winning anything. We're doing it for the love, not for the glory. Sorry, it just does my head in.
Spot on though. The football agenda there said it was lazy journalism, and I completely agree with that. And I think it was Carragher who said that, wasn't it? It's lazy journalism. They haven't, like you said, done the research. They haven't got the facts before they started talking about it, and they're wrong, isn't they? They're completely wrong about it.
It's very easy to pin it on that. Like, if you haven't, you can say we haven't won anything, and I think that's kind of like a side effect of the whole thing. You know, we haven't had the money going into the club, and we haven't had the backing. For me personally, the players that we wanted, and therefore we haven't been at the top. But that's not what it's for. What we're doing it for is because we haven't had the backing. That's the issue, not the fact that we haven't won anything. That's the unfortunate side product of the main issue.
And where's been the communication from? You said the backing, but also the communication for our owners. Like, when do we ever hear of them? You mentioned it today, that the fact that we've had a letter. Nat, I don't know if you've read the letter. Obviously, I'll get your response to it as well. We've discussed it, but what was you thinking when you read that?
Just to say, it's just like regurgitated, like it's just like someone has wrote it for him. PR, the feeling that you felt and all, and I just think we do support, and I just think, like I've said, it's all right writing a letter. This is the second time you had to write one, because you had to write an apology, didn't buy that apology. Now you've had to write one now, and I think the second time they wrote it in 16 years. So all this, we love the fans, we love your passion. I just think it makes you feel sick, kind of a way. You're the reason why, you're killing my club. Get out. Like, that's how it feels. And I just feel like the fact that you're sitting there and trying to say, oh, we care, and like that, and that's it, no. And I think we've sort of said it here, keep that pressure on, I mean, I saw a comment that someone's sort of saying Sky, the way they've scheduled all these games, and I get it, they have to schedule them somewhere, but I've seen things like 4 games in like 7 days. No one can do it. So it's they can't exactly talk about being for the good of football because they're just bothered about their TV cameras. Everyone in the end, I think, are bothered about themselves. But I think fans, this is where we need to stick together. We need to be one, united. For me, I've always said, I want the FSG out of Liverpool and Kroenkes out of Arsenal. Even if we get the Glazers out, I still want other teams to have like says in their club, because I think that's the only way that all this kind of stuff will end. And if there's regulation and if there's, the fans at the heart of all football clubs.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I think it'll bring football back to what it's meant to be, which was, a sport, a game. It's not, it will always forever be a business from now on because there is so much money involved. But actually, football's more than just 11 players on a pitch. Manchester United is more than 11 players on a pitch. It's in the community. It's in the town. That it was what it was built up from. It's all of that.
It's how you raise. It's how you raise. It's who you are as a person. It's who your family is. It's your roots. It's your history. It's ingrained in you. Newton Heath, Busby Babes, the United way. It's not a case of. But I think it's one of them things. Being a football fan, you either get it or you don't. To some people, it is just 11 men running around on the pitch. But if you get it, you immerse yourself in it.
But I think that's where, over time, like because of the money, you've seen the swing towards the business, towards business-minded people, rather than football. Not just football fans, but just football-minded people. Because when you are handling that amount of money, it's very easy to just look at that and not look at the whole effect and the whole side process of it all. Of, well, if we don't invest in Manchester United, you know, you look at Everton are building a new stadium and what that's going to do for that area of development around that stadium. And that's where they're based, that's their hometown. And you know, if you repaired Manchester United and made it more of an experience and brought more to that location, that's what it's about as well. It's not just about money and sponsorships and everything. You know, that's your core.
Yeah, I'm reading some of the letters, some of the responses about the letter. Stephen says, even all in regards to the open letter, I think that it's 16 years too late. I agree with that. Nicole, Shane asked just what's your favourite Elvis song, by the way. So if you had to choose one, what's your favourite one?
My favourite two, I can pick two, Memories in Kentucky Rain. They both remind me of being a kid in my nana's car. But if I could just watch Elvis in a loop all the time, I'd watch him 1968 Comeback Special in his leathers.
Wow.
There you
just
go.
reels them off. That's a true fan right there. Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, to try and set up a Super League behind our backs, the Glazers were prepared to turn us into a franchise and make 1958, 1968, 1999 and 2008 irrelevant. And I think
exactly.
It is the lack of communication, the fact that they've just felt that this is something that needed to be done behind the fans' back and just eradicate everything that we've achieved as a club. It was just disgusting, wasn't it? It was disgusting. But that amongst obviously other things as well, like you say, 16 years has been far too long. This has been coming for a long time. And I think finally now, like you say, Nick, it does feel a bit different. It feels like their ownership is almost coming to a head now for me. And we're just waiting for that kind of to explode now and something to happen. I feel like it's coming to a head and it does feel different this time around. It feels like
I know this is completely different and it's going to be completely different time-wise, but do you know that feeling like with the European Super League where they had to be some kind of ending to it, and like before it came, and that's what I feel like. I know it's going to be a lot long term, it's going to be a bit more difficult than that, but that's that kind of feeling I have. Like, even though I was devastated at the time, there was still this part of me that thought, no, it's not going to happen. There's got to be, can't think of the word, there's got to be a finalisation, there's got to be something that this is all leading to. It's not just, it's going to escalate. Yeah, an ultimatum where they have to act upon it one way or another. And an apology is not good enough. I'm sorry, but it's not good enough.
And a lettered apology as well, like face to face, have said absolutely nothing. That Sally, the reporter, hounded them, was asking for a response, couldn't even look her in the eye and say anything. Couldn't, like you say, Nick, couldn't deny the fact that we're customers, couldn't say anything. It's right. It's obvious that it's all been done for them. We've mentioned it before. They're businessmen. They're not football fans like we are. They haven't got the passion for the club that we have. They're simply interested in the money. And as long as they keep getting money in their pockets, I hate to say it, nothing will change. And that's why us as fans have got to unite. We've got to stop spending money. We've got to stick to the retro shirts. We've got to stop turning up to games. And it's horrible, especially after the time that we've had away from Old Trafford. It's horrible to sit there and say that. But it's not that's saying, isn't it? It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think that's what needs to happen right now. I think that as fans, we need to unite, stop spending money, stop going to the stadiums, stop putting any money in the Glazers' pockets. And that's the only way, truly, I think we can hurt them, and that's the only way truly we can force them out, really. Unfortunately, as long as there's still bums on seats and there's still a crowd there, in terms of titles, in terms of the performance on the pitch, they don't care. They don't care about that. They're just bothered about lining their pockets. And that's the horrible thing about it. And it's not just the Glazers, is it? Like, you've already mentioned SSG, you've already mentioned, obviously, Kroenke. Like, football has become a business, and like Nat said, I think it's time now that fans can get more ownership over their clubs across the board, and I think this is the turning point for it. I genuinely do think that. Doug, thank you for the super chat. It says Simon Jordan and Jermaine Genius and Graham Souness do not have a clue what they're on about. Also, TalkSport is the worst radio station for clicks and views and want to cause controversy. FSG out, Glazers out. What's your thoughts on TalkSport? Meg, I know you listen to a bit of TalkSport. Do you agree with that? I mean, I'll be honest, when they had Robbie Loyal on there recently, they asked him to go on to talk about the Super League and they absolutely hounded him. I thought it was disgusting, to be honest with you. And I didn't agree with that. And I know that he came out afterwards and he apologised, didn't he? Which, fair play to him. I respect that. But there's been a few occasions now where it does seem that it has been the controversial topic. Does that, rather than talking about actually what matters, it's been made controversial.
I think it's very ironic how, in that instance, they wanted to talk about how, you know, fan channels or channels associated with football teams are only there. They want the teams to lose so they can get clicks, and yet, or they want more views, and yet. Recently, TalkSport have decided to live stream their shows on YouTube and on Facebook and put out stuff like tweets saying, you have to watch it. It's a must watch when they clipped Robbie and Ray Parlour going for it. So you know, if you're going to say things like that, then don't be that kind of way as well. So I think it was very difficult. It's just ironic that they put that out there. I do think they obviously they discuss the big topics. They do that. But you know, Simon Jordan used to own Crystal Palace, but you don't and have never owned Manchester United, so you're not definitively right about everything that you say. I do find with him that he is right and it's his way or no way. And that's very annoying. Yes, you have owned a football club. Yes, you might have had that experience, but you haven't had the experience of owning Manchester United. You're not definitively correct about everything that you say. He can't be wrong, and it's so frustrating to listen to. But Jermaine Souness and Graham Souness, Graham Souness in particular, I just think very, very lazy. And I'm clearly, I mean, there was a meme going around with the whole thing about why hasn't Pogba sorted it out? Or it was all Pogba's fault. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But yeah, frustrating at times to listen to them.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're going to get our predictions in for the Villa game on Sunday. Obviously, we're into a final. I haven't even asked you about that. We're into a final. How are you feeling after about that?
Buzzing, you know. Contractual.
Got there in the end.
Got there in the end. Semi-final defeat is over. I mean, even though we got defeated, but listen, we did it in the first leg. I'm so happy. I'm buzzing.
You could only say that about United.
We would still lose it, but it doesn't matter because you know it was won in the first round. Really, I mean that's why we got it in the end. Cavani, oh my days, the header.
Give it to
Cavani.
Pass in the ball.
I was so out of time, girls.
Yeah.
So out of time.
Remember to get people to do it properly.
Scotch girls need some
yeah.
Someone needs to sign us up quick.
Yeah. The thing is though, with that, I loved the shot. The header, the pass from Bruno. So I saw someone comparing it to, you know, Rooney in the San Siro in 2000.
They put them like next to each other, didn't they? I've seen that clip. Yeah, that was epic.
When we play like that, that is it. That is, you know.
We need to keep Edison for another season. We need him for another. He's everything you want in a centre forward. Is old school.
Yeah, it's class. Absolutely class. And the way that he backed Greenwood.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
The way that he was just in there, he was just like looking after him. He's just like a fatherly figure, just steps in there. Like I was just like,
oh my God. I was like, ding dong, sir. I was
sign him up. Sign him up. The plaster on his face as well, it makes him look even more like a warrior, doesn't it? That plaster on his face. Nelly Cavani.
Everyone's saying, I usually might mention everyone saying what's happened to Cavani's face. I think Nicole's done it to him. I would never scratch him on his face.
Yeah. Elsewhere.
Yeah, but I'm buzzing in the final as well. Like you said, performance wasn't great. So Villa at the weekend, Nat, how do you think we're going to fare against them? Like how confident are you feeling? I've already asked the other two, so I thought I'd get your opinion.
I'm confident. I think maybe keep the sort of similar team that maybe played. I'd like to see Donny playing. I'd like to see Tellers maybe playing. I know he didn't have a great, but I'd, put some minutes into him because we're going to be playing a lot of games. So, I'd like to see Dan James, stuff like that. I'd like to see these lads, and I'm confident that we can get a point. Villa, they've had a good season, so I think they're up and around there. I think, so they're all right. But I think, we should be able to win no matter what. Not in a horrible way, sorry, I love the Villa, but, we should be able to win. But I think let's just, I don't know, it's going to be tough. Like, even if we get a draw, I won't be that bothered, not in a horrible way, but I think, it's all about the semi-final. That's what I'm looking at. I want to finish second, cement the second, but I'm just looking at that semi-final.
The final. Final.
We're past
the final. We're past the semi.
Can't get over the semis.
Grealish is still injured, so Grealish is not going to be fit, which is a big loss for them, obviously. Like I've already said, Barkley is back. I do think he's a positive, but Grealish being out, he does transform their team, doesn't he? So, Nat Shane's also asked, how do you think the ladies are going to get on at the weekend, on Sunday?
Win. I think let's do it. I mean, I just want to shout out as well a little thing. We're talking about investing. We're talking about how these guys haven't invested. Yeah, they put the women's team in. Yes, it's easy to put the money in at the start, but it was talk that they were going to get the cliff, and they were talk that they were going to redevelop that. And now there's a lot of talk where they're going to play next season, train. So I think when we're talking about investment, not only in Old Trafford, but it needs to be in all areas of the training so that all teams can have the correct facilities that they all deserve. I just want to say that thing. But yeah, win for United, men and women. Let's go. I don't care. 6 points.
Let's go. Meg, what's your score prediction going into that game on Sunday? Then I'm going to ask you firstly, obviously, guys in the chat, let me know what you guys think as well. Any score predictions, any scorers that you predict as well.
Can I just say, anyone in the chat who asked me about Elvis, what's your favourite Elvis song? Sorry, carry on.
They did say, Love Me Tender. Love Me Tender. Shane said, Love Me Tender.
That's a good one.
Yes. Female footballers matter. Indeed. I completely agree with that. 5-0 from Ruzan, 2-1 from Shane, 4-1 from I Love the Villa. El Ghazi, Bruno get 2, Cavani, and to really rub it in, Slabhead to get 1 as well. That's I Love the Villa's prediction.
Very honest.
Thoughts?
Do you know what it's like? I always, you know how I am. I'm very much defenders union. I'm thinking, right, clean sheet. But the amount of times that we always go behind in games, and I just feel like perhaps that will be another case that we will concede to then get a kick up the arse. So I'm actually going to not go for a clean sheet for once, but I'm going to go for 3-1.
3-1.
And apologies if you can hear Josh on FIFA.
Is he okay?
Is he all right?
Who knows?
Nat, what's your prediction for the game on Sunday?
2-1 Man United.
Doug's prediction, 7-2.
7-2. No. 2-1
I'm not going to sit here and do an Anfield agenda of like laugh at Liverpool's result and then you never know what will happen to us. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, 7-2. No, Doug. No. What was yours? Sorry, Nat.
2-1. 2-1 to United.
2-1.
But I think we'll scrape it through.
I do think we'll concede. I think, like Meg said, we need that kick up the arse sometimes to get started, and I think that'll happen. Nick, what's your prediction?
Yeah. Well, I do think we'll concede. Like I wrote down before, we've lost just 1 Premier League match from the last 27 fixtures, but out of those 27, we've fallen behind in 7 of them. So I can see us, typical United, will concede, but then I think I'm gonna say Cavani to get 1 or 2 and Bruno. So I'm gonna say 3-1 United, but we will concede first.
3-1. I'm gonna say 3-2. I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think we'll nick it. I'd like to see Cavani, like you say, on the score sheet. I'd like to see Greenwood also on the score sheet again. And if Rashford's playing, to be fair, I'd like to see him get a goal. I think lately, it's been clear he's been struggling. He hasn't been fully fit. I think a goal would do good for his confidence. He hasn't been playing very well of late, if we're all totally honest. So I think I would like to see Rashford get on the score sheet as well. El Ghazi, I think, is a good one for them to put a bet on scoring. And Ollie Watkins, of course, as well. I think he'll always be a threat. He's pacing behind. So yeah, I think 3-2. If I remember rightly, last time we played Villa, we were very lucky. I think, it was a tight game. And I think we were lucky. So I think it'll be tight, but I do think we'll just nick it. But at the same time, I do think we'll concede. Oh yeah, Oliver Village just said that. I want revenge. Girls, it's been an absolutely fantastic show, as always. Everyone in the chat. I mean, we've had some funny questions. I mean, the pie legs one, it still baffled me a little bit, to be fair. That was.
I tell you what, though, roll on the 17th of May. Wait, is it the 17th when we can actually go in pubs? Because when you're sitting outside in a beer garden and I stand up, my legs do feel like pies. I'm telling you now. They go on me wild.
I know. And obviously, ladies in red, we'll have a night out together as well at some point as well. And it is our anniversary coming up soon. We will do a special show for that. We're thinking of things we can do. We were talking about a talent show yesterday, actually. Now we were saying we'd do like a ladies in red, like it's got talent.
I ain't got none.
You've got to have one.
I ain't got
to have one.
Singing is my talent.
There you go. There's your talent then. I don't know. So
I can't do my talent on camera, guys.
Hey.
Show's got to lower the tone, Nick. Why have you got to lower the tone? I'm joking. But, girls, it's been a great show. As always, Nick, firstly, shout out where people can find you, because obviously you're doing your articles. You're banging them out at the minute, doing fantastically well with them. Where can people read them?
So Twitter at Miss Nicole Deans, blog is still United She Stands, always pinned tweet, and my Instagram is United She Stands too. I've been about this week on channels and stuff like that, but I will always have time for my girls and ladies in red. And 31st of May is our 1 year anniversary. Any funny ideas we can do, send them to @RealLadies in Red on Twitter, because I can't believe it's been nearly a year, because I remember them days we used to be sitting here, we used to have our morning brew on a Sunday, and now we're here, in our dressing gown. Yeah, crazy.
Mad.
But yeah, I've loved every minute.
Me too. What a year it's been for Ladies in Red. Like, I still can't believe it. Like, this has got me through lockdown. Like, genuinely, and it's credit to you girls.
It was only ever meant to be one. It was only ever meant to be one show, wasn't it? Really?
And it just went from there. Like, everyone in the chat as well, because obviously we have our consistent viewers, and we always see you there, always. And obviously all the newcomers we love having people coming in and joining. Like, it's all about the community, isn't it? As Meg said earlier, it's being united. It's all about the community. And we are just football fans. We don't try and paint it as anything else. We're just football fans. We want to talk about our team and have a bit of a laugh whilst we're doing it. And I just think, like, for my personal, like, mental health, definitely, like, Ladies in Red has been a blessing. Like, with lockdown and stuff, I've always looked forward to the shows, and I know people in the chat have messaged me saying they're looking forward to it. And we just want to make people smile. That's all we want to do. Talk about the team that we love and have a laugh about it. So thank you to you girls, and thanks for everyone in the chat. Really appreciate the support. And like I say, we will do a special show when we get to that year anniversary as well. Nat, thank you so much for coming on and joining us as well. Obviously, I appreciate that you've been very busy and you've jumped straight on. Thank you for doing that. Let people know where they can give you a follow as well.
Natalie_17, and definitely go and if you like or you want questions about the women's team, hit me up, but also hit up the Barmy Army, MUWFC. Got some big things that we're coming and planning, and can't wait till next season. Now the girls are back in with the fans, so definitely come down and support the girls. They need they appreciate it, and just like a little community as well. So you get all your mates there and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and that's been on telly this week as well. And that's been on telly this week as well.
What have you been doing that?
Just Granada, like Nicole. So I just go on, just talking about the protest, saying I was there. I think that's where we're going now in media. You want people who are living it, not just sort of like Sooners and Jordan. Like I said, they don't, they want to say that this is what United feel. No, this is how we do feel. Let's get the real people on to say it. Yeah, in the mix of it.
Definitely. Where you haven't got all this, we mentioned about the Glazers and everything, just seemed like rehearsed. It's not rehearsed, is it? It's just raw. It's just raw emotion, real. And I think that's why fans are so effective when they are speaking about their team. Meg, last but not least, of course, thank you as always. Take time. She was on the watch along yesterday as well. Make sure you go and give Meg a follow. Meg, let people know where they can find you. Curlers will want you to do your little pointing, no doubt.
I never know which way it is. It's this way. It's at Megan Can with an underscore. And my Insta's linked on there if you want to go on that. But yeah, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Hair Dye Treatment. Thank you again for having me, and have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, thanks again, Meg. Thank you all for listeners. Not been here for many months, but in all the shows I watched, they've made me smile and cheered me up, and that's what we aim to do. Thank you so much for tuning in.
It's always in the chat, so we appreciate it too.
Yeah, we do.
Always say that name in the chat.
Yeah, and this show would be nothing without the chat, would it? It would not be anything without the chat. Super sticker from Kings Never Know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Ladies, I hope you have a lovely weekend. Everyone in the chat, I hope you have a lovely weekend as well. If you are new, please hit that sub button. Please hit a like if you've enjoyed it as well. Really appreciate it. Yeah, roll on Villa at the weekend. Obviously, the ladies are playing as well. Make sure you check out the ladies if you can as well. Like we said earlier, female football matters too. Yeah, let's smash it at the weekend. Let's go.
I'm playing this weekend. You got
Go on, girl.
I have got a game. Yeah, Meg, you got Leafield, haven't you?
We've got Leafield away.
Best of luck to Meg, converted left back. I'm hearing Luke Shaw-esque on that left hand side. So just don't be like Tellers at the back post, Meg. That's all I'm gonna say. joking.
Bobbing forward, Meg, get your crosses in.
That's it.
Yeah, Meg, good luck. I've seen your game. I've got a game as well. I've got Walsall in a friendly at the weekend. So yeah, we're both playing. It should be nice to get back playing too. So yeah, Kings Never Die, thank you so much for that super sticker as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone for the support. We will speak to you again soon. But until then, keep smiling, stay positive. Come on, United.